Here we are at chapter 8. This is our last chapter for this course on selling and sales, selling by representation, I should say. So here we go. This is a long one again, and we're going to have a quiz on this tonight or soon. If it's not tonight, there will be a quiz on this and chapter 7. So in this chapter, we're going to discuss the meaning of customer strategy, explain the difference between a consumer and a business buyer, and understand the importance of alignment between the selling process and the customer's buying process. We're also going to try to understand the buying process of the three different alliances, buyers, when it comes to transactional also and strategic. So we will also discuss the various influences that shape customer buying decisions. So here we go. So all companies need to develop a customer strategy, and you need to do that too for your sales plan strategy. So the greatest challenge to salespeople or sales reps in the age of information is to understand, realize, and unrealized needs and improve responsiveness to customers. So this is what I was telling you about suspects, prospects, and customers. So customer has supplanted the product as a driving force in the sales today. In other words, the customer is above the product. So developing a customer strategy, power tools of the new customer in our new normal. We can add that on too. Instant comprehensive information from the internet. More and more today, we're going to head into 5G and one day into 6G, and the speed of that will certainly advance everything on the internet and analyze certain customers easier. So there's more choice, and there's always real-time price comparisons that you can do. So all these things have changed and will change further on in going forward. This is what I was asking you to do a pivot plan also, and when you do a pivot plan, you have to figure out exactly if in the case of a crisis, what exactly is your product going to be good for. This is why we did the strategy of doing exercise, product in the home, and also product that is practical for the home. So you need to work a little bit on the practical side, a little bit more useful for the home. Here's a quote from Jerry Cuff. Certainly. So customer strategy, a carefully conceived plan that will result in maximum customer responsiveness, need to achieve a better understanding of the customer's buying needs and a better position to offer a value-added solution. So we develop a customer strategy. Again, these slides or this YouTube video, you can coordinate it with the actual PowerPoint slides. And if you do have questions, you can stop the tape and stop the video and record or take down notes, and you want to ask me later on. And I know, guys, it's very difficult these days to concentrate on work. I think you're all pretty bored and feeling depressed a little bit. Maybe not. I'm hoping that you aren't. And it's a tough grind right now, especially the weather is starting to get nicer and nicer, and you tend to want to be a little bit more liberated, if I may use that word. But again, you need to concentrate on this. You take the course, you need to finalize this course. So developing a customer strategy, you can have always a checklist, something like this. And if we compare consumer versus business, right, we treat different customers differently. So consumer buyer behavior, buying behavior of individuals and households who buy goods and services for personal consumptions, or this is B2C, and B2B would be business buyer behavior, buying behavior of organizations that buy goods and services for use and production of other products in their business, right? So this is how it's a huge difference between the two. So here are some comparisons. Again, you can stop the video to take a look at this. I would pay attention to individual purchases may make quick decisions versus purchases when it comes to business may engage in a lengthy decision process, only because most of the time the money involved and the ties that you have to have a contract and responsibility in that. So types of business buying situations: new task buying, first time purchase of a product, a straight rebuy, routine purchase of previously purchased goods or services. These again is all definitions that you have to have an understanding of it. Modified rebuy, purchasing when the buyer wants to reconsider product specifications, prices, or suppliers. In other words, change supplier. Next one is systems selling. This is we're building strategic alliances. So systems selling is a type of selling that appeals to buyers who prefer a packaged solution to a problem from a single seller. So in other words, in my past times, I would sell different products to one company and also align myself with other companies so they would receive like almost like a one-stop shop. And one of my customers was into delivering goods to pizza shops, and he would deliver everything from pizza boxes to cheese to machinery, even all of them. So this is also a company that could align themselves with other companies to sell everything under one roof. Types of consumer buying situations: amount of time consumers devote to a buying situation can vary greatly. It all depends on the cost. Certainly, we've looked at that before, B2C versus B2B. How much you know the product and the importance of the item to the consumer. Habitual buying decisions requires very little involvement, in which brand differences are usually insignificant. In other words, if you buy products like eggs, let's say, or stuff like that you buy every day, certainly sometimes you're not even going to look at the brand. Variety-seeking buying decisions is motivated by the desire for variety rather than product dissatisfaction. And we get to CBD, complex buying decision, an often lengthy consumer buying decision characterized by a high degree of involvement in making that decision. Achieving alignment with the customer's buying process. So the buying process really is stages, and these stages the buyer goes through when making a buyer decision. We looked at that in the past, and we can take a look at that here now. So systematic series of actions or a series of defined repeatable steps intended to achieve a result. So most companies now always follow a buying process. They do not deviate, only because the company policy won't allow them to deviate, and they're paid to do their job a certain way. So steps in a buying process, that's very typical, right? And so you have them there. Habitual buying decisions often skip or reverse some of these stages. So if you look at this, you have different buying process, steps in typical buying process, steps in consultative sales process, and steps in the 6-step presentation process. You can see what it takes to get to buy a product. So this is all about purchasing a product. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. So steps: need awareness, help determine magnitude of problem, identify solutions. So need awareness, now you know you need to buy something. So then you have to evaluate your solutions. And resolution of problems, this is high quality proposal. This is where you need to source out proofs or proof sources to make sure that there are some out there that can actually solve your problem. And then you need to purchase. So hassle-free process, and this is where the customers, you have to advocate what you have to buy. And then you implement your product, so quality monitoring of delivery through invoice and follow-up to ensure satisfaction. So this is a long process that most companies, what they do, there's a step usually between purchase and implementation, where it certainly has got to do with trying the product first and giving it a go before accepting contracts. So there is what we call trials that are done before. So if there's a step between purchase and implementation, it would be trials to make sure that the customer or the product fits, let's say, the plant or the manufacturer. Now the process, the transactional process, the buyers, they have to be very well aware of their needs. They're paid to do that, so they have to certainly be aware of it. They become frustrated with sales reps who use needs assessment, problem solving, or relationship building. Relationship building is a situation where a lot of companies don't even allow that to arrive in their midst, because what they do is, I never forget, some companies, they would switch buyers every 6 months to a year, only because they don't want that relationship to be built where all of a sudden it's quid pro quo or favors. You do this for me and I'll do that for you. You buy me this, you take me out fishing or supper for a month, and let me tell you, that's really what it used to be for the longest of time. It still is today. So a lot of companies don't want that. Also the process here, buyers lack needs awareness or need help evaluating possible solutions, can be complex and expensive. And how to add value? Well, you can also conduct a systematic assessment of the situation. You can help the customer evaluate solutions, help resolve any problems that surface prior to and also after you bought it. Strategic alliance, continued process buyer, requires a careful study of the proposed partner. This is where I was telling you that trials have to be done and visits to their plants and make sure they can supply you, and they have to have a good reputation. And in some cases, they will ask for references and a little bit more information before they actually do business with you. Both parties must be prepared to explain how they will add value and commit resources to establish and maintain the relationships. Again, contracts are signed because of this, and relationships are built for a long-standing time if all is in order. As soon as something is broken and out of order, these relationships certainly are broken. The buyer resolution theory. This is when the purchase will be made only after the prospect has made 5 buying decisions. One is, why should I buy? The need. What should I buy? The product. Where should I buy it? The source. And what is a fair price? Price. And when should I buy? The time. So this is something that you need to know. Certainly this will be, I can guarantee you, this will be in the quiz. So understanding buyer behavior, we have a lot of different diagrams. If you look at this model, it illustrates many complex psychological and sociological forces that influence buyer behavior. It's always about needs to make a decision. Again, you can see needs right across the board. So basic needs, basic human needs have changed little throughout economic history. The ways in which needs are fulfilled has changed greatly in the age of information, and certainly also in the minds of companies that want to sell products. Before, the product was the main thing, selling the product, and they would all revolve around the product, but today's world revolves around the customer, not the product. It's not what the product could do for the customer, it's what the customer needs. Which product does the customer need? And since the 40s, there's always been this Maslow hierarchy of needs. We know this a little bit now, provides salespeople with a practical way of understanding what are the needs. Certainly we have this pyramid, we understand it, and it's a good thing to know, because this is still good today. As much as it has been changes to this pyramid, it still lasts in a lot of companies. So, group influences that affect buying decisions. We've got customer. Sales reps can develop the type of insight customers view as being valuable. And here you have them all. Customer, there's the roles the customers play, the reference groups, the social class, and also the cultures that surrounded everything, and the microcultures. So if you look at breaking them down, the role, a set of characteristics and expected social behaviors based on the expectations of others. The reference group, 2 or more people who have well-established interpersonal communications and tend to influence the values, attitudes, and buying behaviors of one another, a point of comparison. Social class, a group of people who share similar values. Culture, we've been through this many times, values and beliefs. But if you look down, you have microculture. This is really important to know. This is the value system shared by communities based on common life experiences. That is the difference, is the common life experiences. And perception. So how customers' needs are formed. Perception is what we talked about a while ago. It's a process through which sensations are interpreted using knowledge and experience. Here again, pay attention to selective attention, where we screen out or modify stimuli if in conflict with learned attitudes. This is bias. Selective attention is bias. In other words, we shut down what doesn't interest us or endangers our situation, and untrained sales reps can't catch this because they won't be able to go over the bias. But once you're trained and once you have experienced what this is, and you realize the mistake that you made when you have selective attention, you realize that what you have to do not to have this kind of perception and open up your thinking. Motives, buying motives, right? We have different buying motives. It's an aroused need, basically what it is. So dominant buying motive, or DBM, has the greatest influence on a customer's buying decision. Then we have EBM. This is emotional buying motives, prompts the prospect to act as a result of an appeal to some sentiment or passion. So this is sentimentality. Rational buying motives prompt the prospect to act because of an appeal to the prospect's reason or better judgment, such as price and quality. So on we go with motives. We've got patronage buying motive, cause a prospect to buy a product from one particular company rather than the other. So superior service could be one of the main reasons, or past history. Product buying motives cause the prospect to buy one particular product brand over another. So here again, a lot of people buy products on brands. So to finish off, creating value throughout the buying process model, here we have strategic initiatives identified, need awareness. This is creating value throughout the buying process, as I mentioned. Evaluation of solutions, resolution of problems, the purchase. And like I said before, inside here, before you implement, you do have a stage of trials that has to be before you get there. So let's see if you could remember that one. There will be a question about that. So in between purchase and implementation, what stage has Tony mentioned in the slides? It's trials, trial and error. How about that? Trial and error. Thank you. See you soon.